My name is Rynn Caputo, and I am CEO and co-founder of Caputo Brothers Creamery. I have two great passions in life. One is artisan cheese. The other is being the mother to the Caputo Brothers. That's right. My husband and I actually named our business for our sons. Now you might be thinking that I grew up on a dairy farm or the daughter of cheesemakers. It's not true. My path was actually pretty stereotypical from most people's perspective. I went to Texas Tech, I got a degree in information systems, and I went out into the world and followed that dream of corporate America. The problem was, the folks I came from had been in the military. I was an Air Force brat, which meant I had been exposed to the world at a very young age. It was very exciting for me, and my mind was always open to other opportunities. So when my husband came along and decided on the second morning of our honeymoon that he wanted to move to Italy and become a chef, I was up for it. I said, sure, let's leave this stereotype behind and head into something different. We had no idea that that something different was actually going to be cheese making. We settled right here in central Pennsylvania and thought, we'll make 40 pounds of mozzarella and sell it at the local farmer's market. That was our dream. But our dream was also to make it in the traditional Italian style, which means no vinegar, no citric acid. We weren't going to take the easy way out. We were going to honor the tradition of making traditional Italian mozzarella and hopefully disrupt the industry. We were right, because 3 months after we started the business, Murray's Cheese up in New York City, which happens to be the best, called us up and said they wanted our cheese. Things took off in a way we could never, ever, ever imagine. When Food and Wine Magazine, New York Magazine, the New York Times started paying attention to what we were doing, we knew that there was something really special about the cheese that we were making. To be honest, it was really overwhelming. It still is, even 8 years later. As celebrity chefs were putting us in their cookbooks, I was still trying to follow my other passion, raising my kids. So I did the only thing I knew how to do, and that was to fold them right into it. We're gonna start a restaurant in our home? Sure. What we'll do is pull the boys into it in their PJs, have them say buonanotte to everyone, and make sure that we got to tuck them in while people were sipping their wine. I didn't know we were gonna have a real restaurant someday. That wasn't the plan. Trips to Italy because we need to figure out how to make cheese? Sure. Throw the kids on a plane, bring your parents over to make sure that they can watch them. You'll figure it out. That's what we did. We just knew that if we kept following this passion of making traditional cheese the way that it was supposed to be, that it was the right path for us to be on. But we always struggled with figuring out how to be a true artisan, a true craftsperson, an entrepreneur, and a good parent. We always laugh and say that anytime we had something exciting to offer to the boys, like, let's go to Hershey Milk Chocolate World, or pick up some pizzas on the way home, we were always met with the question, where do we have to deliver cheese first? They figured it out pretty quickly. But on the flip side, they got to watch their parents grow in their job. They got to watch their parents work really hard, an incredible gift that we had learned from our own parents. They were the inspiration for caponats, an easier way for us to have our customers make mozzarella at home. You don't have time to do that when you have kids, so you have to make it easy. And certainly, as we started seeing the dairy farms going under around us, y'all, we lost 370 dairy farms in the state of Pennsylvania last year. And I knew that if I wanted my kids to grow up in this beautiful pastoral landscape, that I needed to be a part of saving those farms. So it wasn't enough just to revolutionize mozzarella. It wasn't enough to take the crafts from our friends in Italy and continue to show Americans what that meant. But we had to do it in a way that could make a valuable impact on the dairy farmers around us. So, Now I look back at the business that we've created in 8 years and I wonder, what impact has this had on the other passion, on these boys? What will they think someday when they grow up and they look back on the time of us building this crazy business? I kind of got my answer a few months ago. We have a partnership with Giant Food Services now, and we were at one of the retail markets, and the boys started selling cheese. Not because I asked them to, not because they felt like they had to, but because they had this organic knowledge that they had been learning since they were so young. They knew what to do. When we're in restaurants and they're talking to famous chefs, they know what to do. One of my favorite stories is the first time we took them to a Michelin 2-star restaurant in Italy. They turned to one of our cheesemakers who were with us and said, "This is my first time in a Michelin restaurant." And the cheesemaker said, "You know what, buddy, it's mine too." I can only hope that these experiences lead them to follow their dreams and what they're passionate about. It might be cheese, it might not be. But I know that my greatest gift in life will always be following my heart in the work that I do and being the example that I hope to set for them. Thank you.